on the air. All right, we're recording. All right, thank you for joining us today. We have Julie on the line with us. She's going to run us through a little bit of how to set up CrossMrg for Virginia Cycling Cyclocross race. So let's take it away, Julie.
Hi, Rob. Thanks. So we're going to go into CrossMrg and doing the simple setup for each event. When you first open up your CrossMrg, you're going to go up into the corner on the left and click on File and Open New.
Okay.
And once that is open, this is the configuration of your whole race. So we enter the event name. So go ahead and do that, Rob, for the event that's coming up on the Saturday.
Okay. Let me copy that from. So should the event name just be NNCX Race Weekend, or should it be Saturday? Maybe NN.
So when you upload it to Cross Results or anything else, how do you upload it?
They would just go to use. Well, they go to web.
Like what's on your permit for USAC?
I don't know. Let me look that up.
Because I tend to like to copy and paste and have it all consistent. So because when you upload it to USAC, it's going to be right there. When you bring it up to CrossMrg, it will be right there. And if you do use bike reg results as well, that will be all consistently on the same.
Perfect. Okay. Let's take a look at that then. Do you know where the most direct place to find that is?
I was pretty impressed that you were going right straight to it. I didn't. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Yeah. So that's the same. So
That's
it is consistent. So it's the same name as on. Oops. No, I don't want to. All right. So there it is.
Right.
So that's the name, even though it has Sunday in it. So
Correct.
okay.
I would just do it.
Perfect. All right, cool. So we're going to name the event name that. And so that is consistent in USAC, and it's consistent on Bike Reg, it's consistent everywhere. Okay.
Right.
Now, what's the big difference between the event name and the long event name? Should they just be the same?
So the long name is probably the one that, and I don't use it, so I have not used it. So the long name is literally that. So the short name, the event name, it sounds you could take off the Sunday, and no, it's only Saturday. But the permit is the long name. Does that make sense?
Okay. So should you have them just both filled out the same?
I just leave it out. I just do the event name. I've never done the long name or
Okay.
either or. It really makes no difference.
Leave that blank.
I do the city and state.
Okay.
And the date for the actual race.
Okay, so this is going to be the Saturday race.
Yep.
All right.
The first race is always the one, and then you do the scheduled start time for the first race, and then how many minutes are you planning on running it?
Okay, and I had to type in 0930, so that's in 24-hour time?
Yeah, that's military time at all times, yep.
Cool.
And then organizer, I usually write,
Yeah, let me find that.
I go on Bike Reg to get the schedule.
Bike Reg for the schedule. Well,
That's just easier, yeah.
I'm logged in. All right, cool. All right, Graham Costa. Now, official should just always be the chief judge, should be the chief ref, or?
I mean, it doesn't really print anywhere. So like the organizer, I always write Julie for Graham Costa, or whoever's timing it for Graham Coaster. And then yes, official commissaire, you can put whoever it is. I put just myself because I don't believe it prints anywhere. It's really just for your own stats.
Okay. All right.
And then you go down to the file, and again, in order to keep everything organized and everything to get up as an FTP for a live feed, you want to always create a folder for that specific race, because when it pulls for that folder completely. So go into your CrossMrg and your specific folder.
Okay. So I've made one called NCCX. This is 2021, and I'm just gonna
Yep.
use it right there. Okay.
And then every time you save a file from CrossMrg out, it will automatically put it into that file.
Okay. Categories import file. Is that
We can ignore that.
okay? All right. So
And so,
this is the first race of the day. Now, is there anywhere that says that this is going to be men's 4-5?
yeah, we're going to do that later,
Okay,
but
cool.
this is just going to be bringing up the frame of it.
Okay.
At this point, this is when I push OK and it saves this specific race.
Okay. We haven't
Yeah.
done.
No, we'll do that later. I
Okay.
do that all later.
All right. So that's all done. Okay. All right.
Right. Now it brings it up like this, and then there is a checklist that just to give you an idea of what the things you remind yourself what you need to be doing.
Okay.
But this is now when I mean, you can do it then, but this is now, I just like to see that everything looks right. I look at this where that right next to the right of the start race, I look and see, make sure that that looks correct. The Sunday 1, that's being the first day of the race, it's 9:30, start time, mass start, duration 30 minutes. So then that looks good to me. So then I go up to number F10, which is properties.
Okay.
And this is the same screen that we just were looking at.
Okay.
And now we're going to do the different tabs. So if you go into the second tab, which is race options, I always change the distance to miles.
All right.
And then I do show lap notes and check that off. And that's just if we add a note to the rider, whether we pulled them or everything else, that will come up in the FTP later.
Okay.
RFID, that's only if we use that. We're not using that right now. Go to the next one would be web. And this is where you've already done this, but then this is where you set the graphic for every that comes up on the top of your results when you print it.
Okay. And I can also copy email address.
You want to do your own email address,
Oh,
because
really?
this is going to be anyone that has an issue with the results. So
Oh,
whoever's
okay.
doing the results, you want them to put to do your address, email address.
All right. Okay. So yeah, that's so for the series, I've already downloaded that. You just basically set the graphic. That's cool.
Right. And
Uh,
then going in, oops,
can
sorry.
we can we take a minute and look at this QR code? So should I have some of these printed out and available for people to use?
I don't use this at all. Later on, I'll show you what I do for a QR code to give them to the live results that you will be set up for with the FTP.
Okay, cool. All right.
So the next tab will be the FTP,
Okay.
and we are going to set that up. Did we set it up before, Rob?
Yeah, we did set it up before. So
Let me just see. I need to figure that. Okay, so the first will be FTP. This is where you do if you want to eventually do your own website, but you can right now currently have it under ftp.1111timing.com. And what this means, this is going to be live results for your participants. The
right.
upload path will be your upload path would be 2021 or backslash, yeah, 2021.
Okay.
I want to make sure that's how we did it, right? In particular. And then didn't we name the file, Rob?
Yeah, I mean I could open the other one of the other ones and copy all that real quick.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, and we put the back, forward slash and then the date, and then we did a name, I thought.
Yeah, don't say the
Password?
password. I've got that. So,
Okay.
okay, let's see. We got this.
Yeah, we did that.
Oh, okay. So this would be, so this happens to be a 2-day event. So this is how we're going to have results from one day, and then the next day I'm just going to change that, right?
You're just going to change the date, correct? And then you'll do the file. Yep. Because this will automatically set up a file for you online. And if you want to, we can go into the screen and show what we are talking about.
Okay, so now I'm back at the properties, and I'm just putting this information here, and this is just for testing purposes. I'm sure I'll set up, if this does good, I'll set up a Virginia Cycling website. Where did you get your, is that through GoDaddy or?
Actually, it's through a private that an IT guy did for me.
Oh, that's nice. It's good to know
Um,
IT guys, huh?
yeah, they're special. And it's essential because this is little thing can continually be what's wrong and what's not wrong, like if it's not exact. And you're going to check the box that says automatically upload so that it does continually go upload for that.
Mhm. I'm just gonna paste the password in off screen here.
Sure.
All right, so now we have our FTP settings saved. It's gonna
And then
upload during the race results. So we're gonna have like, phone on a hotspot or something, and that'll just,
right, that's what I do. Yeah. And then that will be result.1111timing.com, and then the same thing that's up on the upload file path.
okay.
And forward slash 2021 forward slash 1106 at NCX.
The same thing that's down here, right?
Right up, yeah, right up on your upload file path. That's the same exact as that. You can't see my cursor, right?
No.
Okay. Oh, so you've got too many 2021s, so that would mess you up. So get rid of the very first 2021. There you go. Yep, looks good. And then the backslash should be, I mean, a forward slash should be right after 2021, and get rid of the hyphen.
Let's see. Can I just copy this?
No, that's typing as you type.
Oh,
So
okay.
go back. So you backspace all the way. Now go forward slash right there, and then 11-06,
Okay.
and then space, and then I think it's NNICX. Is that what's your?
Newport News
Okay,
CX.
there you go. Now you can test the FTP connection. And it's successful. So that means it works well.
Cool. Okay. Awesome.
And we can continue with the FTP in a little bit. So I'll show you because we do have some more form things we need to do with this in order to arrange it like I have it. But
Okay.
that's in a bit future. So batch publish. Oh, actually, we do it right here. So the FTP, see how that's, you have to always check off index HTML for all cross managers, race, and folder. Yeah, I actually check all 4 of those off, right off. And so this will condense it all into one folder for us when it live does it.
Okay.
And then the GPX, this is a great formula that our next one.
Mm-hmm.
and that's when we upload the GPX file for the course itself.
Cool. Luckily, Graham is awesome. He's already sent me one, so we can
Awesome.
put that in there. Somewhere.
Is it in the CrossMrg one?
I think it's that one. Oh, deleted
I
it.
think it's your yeah, I think it is your test route one.
Well, no, I got it. I made it today, so that's the wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'll just take a second. Because it's so cool.
It is. It really is kind of fun to see.
Okay.
So this at least shows people how to download the GPX, because it's sometimes
Right.
tough to figure it out. So you sign into your Strava.
Right. Yeah, that's a good thing to do this. So Graham Graham rode the course one time, and he emailed to me a link with his Strava on it. So if I'm signed into Strava, then I can bring this up. And so
Right. If you want to hold right there, Rob. So on the map, it looks like it says download GPX right there, but that's actually the one you don't use if you don't have a subscription to Strava. If you roll up a little bit, it's above this. To the left, those three dots, and then export GPX. So if you don't have that extra subscription to
oh,
Strava.
okay, cool. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I've got a subscription, but
Ooh la la.
yeah, so you can export it. So it won't let you export it here, but it'll let you export it here.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Ah, and there it is. It was in my downloads. Okay, cool. All right.
And that's the importance of always putting things in the file that you make, because we all know the stress of the day of timing. Sometimes you want to know
Yeah,
where everything is.
yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, and that's actually the Sunday one, but it's good enough for this, the demonstration purposes for this.
Correct.
So, the course is a loop. It says it does not contain times. Okay.
And see, it's great because it already had your elevation, it had your mileage, it had everything. So that, if you go back to, just real quick so I can show you, if you go back up to categories, which is F9. F9, yep. See how it's 1.5 miles?
Oh, awesome.
It automatically puts it in there for you.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, and
Oh,
if you hadn't figured out yet, just for anyone listening, every number here, F1 or has a 1, 2, 3. Those are your function keys. So if I wanted to go to, you know, back to recording results, I could hit function key 2, and that goes to 2 here.
right. And so when you're in the middle of a race and you need to pop over real quick to rider detail, which is one we use a lot, we just push F6 real quick.
Yeah, you just hit F6. F2 is where you enter stuff. F6 is rider detail. Cool.
Exactly. All right, if we go back into properties,
Okay, which is
F10.
10. Okay.
So we've got it uploaded. The arrow there is the way he the GPX had been made. So if that's the correct way of the way that the race is still going to continue, we leave it that way. Otherwise, you can rotate it with the little circle thing up there.
Okay, cool. So he's not going to do this, but if they race this way Saturday and backwards Sunday, and it's the same thing, you could just reverse it like that.
Yeah, you can go ahead and do it back and forth. It will show you how it moves the arrow.
Oh,
See?
cool. Yeah, that's pretty slick. All right.
Okay, and just a note to know that once you do all this, you're actually saving it. It automatically saves. So if you notice, we are not saving as we go through the tabs. It actually does that on notes, on natural. So notes, I don't really do. This is where you'll see recommendations from the system, which we can show you later. Whereas like something like bib number 25 is lap down 1, and it just kind of gives you little hints to make sure you want to confirm that. When we're using the camera, you always want to do photos on every lap. I prefer to do it that way. You can do it on race finish only, so to decrease the storage of your photos. It's totally up to you. I
Okay.
like doing, because I score every lap, so I like to do every lap.
Okay, cool. And we will do a separate thing on the video and cameras. This is more of an intro,
Correct.
but that's a awesome, one of the reasons why this is better than web score is the photos and stuff. We'll get into that at a
Yeah,
second.
some of these things are an advanced thing that you're actually, because I've done it for so long. So we'll get to all that. You don't have to do these. You can
Right,
run the system without the camera.
right.
Um, and the lap counter is our next tab. This is also a really good thing, but we will get to that later. You can actually have a monitor you can throw another screen over to it, and it will actually put up the different lap counters. And this has got the ability to lap count each category that is on the field, which is um, like here in New England, we don't use that. We do because everybody finishes on the lap reader no matter what category it is.
Hmm.
But if for some reason you have 3 different categories on there and you don't want them to finish on the lap leader of the other category, this will actually keep, and you can color code it. Pretty cool.
Yeah, the the only time I think the Super Series Mabra has a race with juniors, and the juniors do 2 laps, and everybody else does 30 minutes. So
Gotcha. Yeah, so this
that's
would be
the
a
only,
good thing.
yeah, I don't think Virginia Cycling has that in there. So, but yeah, that thing's pretty cool. So,
And you can use it just for one, too, as well, so that you can just, if you don't have a lap, you can put it up there just for that one, and it's pretty neat.
yeah.
And you can change it to colors. Animation, if we go to the next, right after lap, nope, go back to properties,
Oh, right.
animation down here, yep.
Okay.
And this is just I don't really do much with this. This is the animation reversal direction, everything. I don't set that up as well.
Okay.
And the rest of the things are again advanced, a little bit advanced. I don't use those at this point either.
Okay.
So now we're going to go into F9 where we set up the actual categories that will be on the field for the race. So if you go to F9, so these are all the categories that will be on the field at the same time. There are 2 different theories on doing a race in setting this up. You can do every single race for the day in one, and then, like I had talked to you before, Rob, and the start offset, you could offset that start at any time. And so if someone starts at 9 o'clock and then another race starts at 10:15, it would be an hour 15 offset. I don't like doing that because that leads to, if one file messes up, you've got the whole day messed up. So I like to, like yesterday, I had a race that had 9 start times. I had 9 start races in my file. So this
Jeez.
meaning 1. And I can show
Wow.
you that a little bit later when we get through. I'll show you what I did a little bit yesterday. Um, so here we'll go for the first race because that's what we're still on. Because if you look in the upper corner at the very top, you'll see the little CrossMrg guy, the blue guy, and you read across, and it'll go right after the word Sunday. It says R1, which means race 1. So that keeps
Okay.
you in the idea that this is the first race of the day.
Okay.
So this is where we set up our categories for that first race, and that would be going back to the CrossMrg. I mean, sorry, bike rides or whatever is your first day. So it would
Yeah.
be
So,
9:30 for the Catman 4. So I copy and paste that, correct?
and we're just making up, let's say those are 300 number bibs.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, you don't have to do that. Just do it at the very top one, because we're going to actually delete all the other ones.
Okay. Okay.
So just put it there. Yep. And then paste it there. So
Okay.
let's click on the one to 100, 199,
Okay.
and then no, right below the cat 4 5 men that you just pasted.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you're gonna delete that. Go up on the corner and delete it, because we don't need all those start waves and it confuses us all. So delete that, and it's asking you just to confirm, and then we're gonna do the one right after and do the same thing until we literally only have the one category that we want on the course at this time.
Okay.
Perfect. This is where you pick the gender. This does print out on your results. So if it's open, keep it open. If it's men, I just press an M for men. If it's W for women, it's just the quicker way to do it.
Okay.
That's your bib series. Whatever your bib series numbers is, 3 to, dashed whatever.
Yeah. And this can be to 350 or whatever. It doesn't have to be a whole
It can be
thing.
whatever you want. You literally could manually do it as well. And then you could do like a comma there, do a comma, and then 285. And that will also pick number 285.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. That's
So
great.
whatever it is in there. So the the shortcut to that as well is, well, we'll pick that up later because I'll show
Okay.
you how you can do it, and I'll just write it down. All right,
Okay.
so the offset here. So this is, say we have two categories. We also have the cat 3 men in this one race. Do we have it? Okay, actually the next one we'll do that. The
Yeah.
women.
The, yeah. The next, yeah, the women will have
So
a
we'll
main
set,
offset. So,
yeah, we'll set that one up as well just to show you how it's done.
okay.
Um, so everything else looks good. So it's everything else stays that way. I keep it that way, and again, it automatically saves. Um, And the next thing you really need to just do is go up to data management, which is on the upper left. Yep. And
Okay.
this is where you're going to link your Excel data to that. Then you go into that. You're going to browse the category, whatever, and it again should be in your little folder that we met, so you don't have to think about where it is.
Okay. So I've gone ahead and already downloaded from BikeReg. Graham has put in the bib numbers into BikeReg, and I put it in a an Excel spreadsheet. And you see, I get this that it says the file is open already, so the file's locked. So I just have to close the file.
That's weird. I've never seen that before. I'll have to look for that.
Yeah. And I think if I set it as a shared workbook, it would be good. But I have in this Excel workbook, I have different worksheets and they're named, according to the race. So I have a
Mm-hmm.
worksheet named men's 4-5. Okay. So then, right. So these are all the different sheets in the worksheet that I have. That's men's four
Correct.
five. This is the first race we're doing. So that's correct. Okay. And then, so it's already got bib, last name, first name.
Yeah, so on the horizontal and vertical, the horizontal kind of helps fill in the vertical. I always make sure the USAC number is there, because later when you download it to upload it to your results, you want that there. So here's your license right there. You want to make sure that's done. And any other, you can literally put this the way you would like to do it. The rest is
Right.
just labs. So then on horizontal, I mean, sorry, vertical, it's the exact same thing. It's just this is how you actually had it set up.
Okay, cool. So really, we want to get, so there's states in there. So this is so Sunday Virginia State Championship.
Yeah,
That's going
that's
to be
essential.
required.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of times some races require what type of license you have. So you could always do one of these custom,
What do you mean? What type of license? What does
like
that mean?
at license status. So like for instance at Marathon Nationals, you had to have an annual license. So license status would say 1 day, wouldn't it? Or if it's active or not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Usually I do that, and Bike Reg is really good at doing that prior. So I do all that even before I get to the stage. I do
Okay, cool.
that with Bike Reg and confirm it with Bike Reg because they can do that. I get it all done, and before I save it with Excel, I've already done all that homework before I even get here.
Okay, cool. So that's not needed, but we just do need the state.
Yes.
Okay. Initialize cross manager categories.
Okay, that is something that again is a choice. I choose not to use that. So how I'm teaching you and showing you now, and I can show you that later, is we actually go by the actual bib number. So if it's 300 to 305, comma 298, that's what it's going to pull, no matter what's in your Excel file. That's the only numbers it will pull. This
Okay.
will pull via the category that's actually on your Excel sheet. So if you have exactly cat 45 dash, males or whatever, it will only pull those. So if you have a extra space in there, if you have a dot in there that shouldn't be, a little e or a big E differently, it will not pull it. It has to be identical to the category. So that's why I think bibs are safer than that. So I
Okay,
don't
cool.
use that.
Yeah, we'll stick with bibs. Okay, so we
That
got no errors, so
Yeah,
that's good.
none means you've got no duplicate bibs. If you do have a duplicate bib, it will show you right here, and it will tell you what line number is duplicating it. So it tells you everything right there, so that you can go back and fix it and edit.
Okay, yeah, and we've all seen that, so that's good. All right, so here's our uh, race 4-5. Got the bib numbers. All right, so there we go. That's the participants for that race.
And this is where I can also look at the bib numbers again for myself. It's 100 to 110, and they all is sequential. I don't see anything that's missing, and even if it is, it's not an issue. So then that's when I look at that and I bring it up to the categories and can put it into the categories, 100 to 110.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
You close that, go right up into the categories, which is F9, and your numbers are actually 100 to 110 is what we just uploaded.
Okay.
This is just for training purposes because it does match it.
Okay.
And again, if there is a number that is 200, like the day of they just started doing 200s, you can always do a comma 200, comma 208, comma 203, whatever it is. And this
Yeah.
is where I'll give you a hint. If we go up into F6 and say for day of, it was 304s, just push in 304. And if you go into drop down category,
Mhm.
actually, let's do that. Go back down to your Excel, the external Excel,
Yeah.
which
We might
should
have.
be open.
Well, I mean, I had to close it.
Why does that make you close it? That's weird. So put three. Oh, so this we uploaded a different file than this one. Oh, we didn't change the. Did we do the Saturday 4/5? Yeah,
This
that's what
is
we did.
this is
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so then put in 305 right here, just for training purposes, like on the bottom. It doesn't have to be any. Nope. It's a day of, so we're gonna just add it. do, yep, whatever, yep, and then just Joe Smo or whoever.
Okay.
And then we're gonna save it, make sure you save it. Go back into
Okay.
your CrossMrg, and then go back into data management. And all you have, yep, and then just push next, next, next. You don't have to do anything else, just push next, next, next. There you go. And then close it.
Okay.
And now go back into F6, which is your rider detail. And this is the quick way of, and then put that number, whatever number we added to it. See how he is there? And now you go to the category, and you're going to put him in there. So that's the way, easiest way to put him quickly into the category and add a day
Cool.
of cert thing. So that's as quick as you can do, and you don't
All
have to
right.
go in and see how it automatically puts it in there for you.
Awesome. Okay. So again, day of, we just open the Excel file. Six,
Mm-hmm.
7. Okay. Save it.
And just a quick little, while you're there as a note, if I have a rider that came through that's nowhere, I have no idea where his number is, there's none, I would put it there and put unknown rider. And so they have to come to me rather than searching for him.
Okay. This just refreshes the
Yep, just refreshes it all.
data. So we got, so you see,
But I
you
don't
don't
know why
see
it's
that.
not
It's,
pulling the name. That should be pulling the name as well.
oh, well, all right. So 6 and 7. So you just going into writer detail. 306.
I just don't
7.
understand why yours isn't pulling the name. It's saving the number, but not the name.
All right. And then we got the categories through, oh, look, it did 305 through 307.
Yeah, because you did it sequential.
Okay, cool. All right. So this is set up for our first race.
Right. And in order to do your second race, you don't have to do all that. So that's why it's really important for your first race to have everything you want to do that's in every single race coming up to be put into this one. So like with your your pictures, your GPX, everything that should be done originally is in here, so you don't have to repeat it every single time. So this is your template for all the races coming up. So the next, to do any more races, you're going to go up to File,
Okay.
and you're going to go New, Next, which it actually essentially copies this, and you're going to go and it will show you. Go ahead and do it, and see how it already brings it up to file number 2.
Yeah, it's already got 2. Let's
And
see,
then
10, 15. So it's
it,
actually estimating that it's a 30-minute race and you got 15 minutes.
correct. And you can
That's
always
awesome.
change it because it doesn't always estimate, right? But it does
Yep.
estimate it. And then you change your race time if that's what has to be changed to 35 minutes or whatever it is, 30 minutes.
It's still 30 minutes.
Okay. I was looking at the fee, so I apologize.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And then push OK. And so everything's already set up. So the only thing we have to do now is categories. So this will have the category we already did, which is fine. So now we're going to copy and paste the women's, and you're going to put new, twice, 2 news, because I know there's 3 categories going to be on this race. There you go. So let's do the first one, the women's 35 plus.
And I just overwrite this one, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Then change the gender,
Okay.
and then copy the other 2. You don't have to worry about the numbers yet because we're not there yet. Great. And so all the genders will be changed? Is it the Jew open or is it all women?
It's open.
Okay. So with the offset, so meaning the woman 35 plus goes off at 10:15, the women, I'm sorry, 35 go off at 10:15, 4/5s go off at 10:16, and the juniors go off at 10:07. So when we go back up, we're going to see the start offset, and then we're going to try, yeah, the 00 is the 35 because they go after the time we're doing, and then we do a 1. Yep, and then the next one we do a 2-minute. These times can be changed at any time in the order. So for example, if you're official or someone that just we didn't time it right, it didn't come off, it was early, they decided in the race that a minute was too long or that it was too short, you can change it at any point.
Okay, even after the race has started.
Yep.
Okay,
So
so Chief Ref goes there, starts him at 30 seconds. Race has already started. Then you just bounce this down to 30 seconds.
right. And a good note is any data that is in here, any of these things that we're setting up can be changed anytime during the race. And so all your recordings will always be in the background. So it's just how we pull it. So don't worry, no matter what we can, you can alter it at any time and change it back, and your data will be there because that's what's entered. It's just going to be altered how you want it. And I can show you later how I actually had to do that yesterday.
Okay, so I noticed that there's a distance here, but there's not a distance here and here.
Right. So that happened because we didn't put the GPX in until after. So I do add that.
Okay,
Yeah,
they just manually type it
yeah, I
in.
just manually do it.
And all of this, you can do this. This is something we all do the night before,
I do all this yeah, the night before, because when you
Yeah,
go to the race, you want this all to be set up, and you want every single race to be set up. You don't want to think, oh, I just have to do a new next, and it will all be set up. It'll be 2 seconds. Believe me, the day of gets a little bit beyond crazy, and you don't want to do that. You want to definitely have it all set up the day before.
absolutely. Okay, so we got that. We got anything else we need to do?
That's it. Now we're going to do the data management. We're going to change it to the women one. You're going to erase that. I just erased that. I think you're going to browse
Well,
because, yep.
it's the same workbook.
Okay.
And to Saturday women 35, 4-5, junior 9
And just make sure your USAC license is there. And
through. Okay, all right. And it's just for testing purposes. I didn't put anybody in that uh,
okay.
work field yet, but it's good. So
So now if you go into file again and to go down to recent files, these are all your recent files that you've been into. So see how there's a 1 and 2? Those are your recent files there. So if you click on 1 again, yep. And then this say that, oh, I need to go to race 2. So I'll go back into file and go open next. You don't have to go back to that. Nope. Open next. And it
oh,
automatically opens that next one, which is actually a really great shortcut when you're trying to like put out results. And like yesterday, I had, again, as I said, a 9 start race. And so I would do that real quick. I would start the race immediately because it was literally a minute later I had to start the next race. I would start that race, and if you watch, it's a 2-step part. And so if you click on start, it's not going to do an issue now. So go ahead and click on start for me
hmm
and see how it comes up start race now. So you always remember it is a 2-step start because most people think that if you hit start, you started. You don't actually start a race until you push OK. So I always push start, and then when I listen for the whistle and push OK when it's ready. If you cancel that for me, and then you check off the start race automatically for me. So what I do with mountain bike races, I will do this and push start, and it will automatically start at 15:30.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, um, so whatever that is, what I normally do is whoever's starting the race, I give them a 10, 20-minute watch, whatever, and I say you have 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and start on that watch. So I literally can leave my computer and go start the race, and it will automatically start with it.
Cool. That's awesome.
And you can click start as above time, and there you go. You've got 2 minutes to start.
Yeah, and you can run to the restroom or something.
Well, yeah, well, what I usually do, because I'm a one-man band, and that you eventually, as a mountain biker and everything else, you're a one-man band, so you're officiating, timing, and whatever. So I set it, and then literally I have my watch at 20 minutes, because usually I set it within 15, 20 minutes, and then I run to the start, and I check bibs, making sure they're on the right way, and the pins, and all that stuff, and then I can walk back easily because it's already started on its own.
Well, that's cool.
Okay.
All right.
So any questions so far, Rob?
No, I think that's pretty good.
Okay, so you know how in as an official, so let's go to, can I now I share my screen or no?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna stop sharing mine, and you want to hit share on yours. All right.
All right, so I'm going to go into CrossMrg and show you a little bit what we've kind of gone over and what I did yesterday. So here's my files. If you can see there's only 8 because you can't see the ninth one. I mean, there's 9 here, but you can't see, I think number 2 is missing because there's only room for 8. So if we go into the first race and categories, so it's one category. So we often, as officials, we score going down, I believe. Do you do that, Rob, or do you go across?
Yeah, I do
Your score.
vertical scoring, but
Okay.
yeah, horizontal scoring is I do. Yeah, that's
Okay.
most people do horizontal scoring.
So this is how normally you and I, as officials or whoever, score. So here's your passings, which is an F5, and this is the same thing as if I had handwritten it down.
Hmm.
So that's how we do that, and that kind of gives you short. If you go into rider detail and say I'm looking for rider number 5, I put it up here just because I need to see it. I go into passings, and it always highlights the number for you, so that you know where it is. So yes, yesterday, if I literally at one of the races, I don't remember which one, I literally missed the entire first lap because we were doing a introductory lap, and I thought that it was still the introductory lap, and I had missed the entire time. So instead of a
Hmm.
minute and a half they had gone by, it was 10 minutes, and I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to score those. So um, you can add them, or if you missed one. So if whoever's sometimes they're handwriting them beside you, this is where you go into passings. And if you right click on this, say number 17, and you insert, because say I forgot number 22, where it's right after
Okay.
17, I insert and then I put 22 right here and push OK, and it will insert for you.
Cool.
Um,
So that's the same thing when like 5 guys go past you and you only catch 2 numbers.
Correct. So
So, then they get a little further apart as the laps go on. So you would just kind of write a little notepad and you'd say blank blank, and then when you
I
get their numbers, you'd put that in there.
Right. I always, always, always have a piece of paper in front of me and a pen because I jot things down because you'll notice sometimes if you punch in number 32 and it doesn't come up, you're like, oh no, you know that you have an issue with your Excel program. Something's wrong with 32. So I write it down on my piece of paper and I'll come back to it later. When I've adjusted it as a timer, it will turn orange like that. You
Oh,
can see
okay.
that I've done some sort of adjustment to it, and that will always show up for that. Rider detail, if I go into, you can see again, there's 2 laps. They seem pretty big. Let me see if that's, how they were. It looks like there was a 2-lap race anyways here. Yeah. So let me see if I can do number 8 because that was the. So again, there's 6 laps here. You can see a lot of people were lapped down here. And then if you go into charts, which is F7, which is a fun chart for us to look at, you can glance at this pretty quickly and see that, okay, it looks kind of good. You can see that this guy right here only had 2 laps because he had no other colors. So if that something happened here, these guys only had 4 laps. These guys had 5 laps. You can see kind of like, okay, this looks pretty good. Like it seems pretty good. But for example, if this blue lap was this entire length, you're like, darn, I must have missed him on that lap.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually go in here, right click. Let me see. Oh, it's probably not. Yeah. So you can right click and you can add a missing lap. It will just split it by 1, 2, whatever you think you split it, and it will split a lap for you. So these are the
Wow.
little things that are pretty cool that will help you later. Recommendations, like I talked on F8, you can see that DNF made sure that he was after lap 5. We want to confirm that he was a lapped rider. So this kind of gives you, like, how'd you do? You know what I mean? If there's a DNF, they're lapped, and it kind of tells you all that.
Okay.
So then if you go into results, you can, again, do a drop down and just see the pro women. And here's your results. It does show your DNFs. And it, again, you can see the orange where I must have done some, yeah, this was a 480 somehow got messed up. So I actually had to go back into rider detail on 480. And I see the star here.
Mm-hmm.
I had to split that because somehow she was missed or whatever. But you can tell that's what happened. It was the star. And see how it's highlighted orange once again? Because I've done it and I split it. It tells me what I did. I edited it. I split it.
Cool.
Any other questions so far on this?
Yeah. What about, so one of the awesome things CrossMrg does is that if you it'll guess and automatically insert a writer that you may
Mhm.
have missed,
Mhm.
and that shows their number is gray. If that writer was, can you demo that, or do you think a way to there, right, 480. So
No, 480 is orange. I added that. Let me see if I can think. I just So if I go on to, let's go on to 76. So I'm going to go to Reddit detail 76. And then see how it's automatically crap. So if actually hers is fine
yeah,
too.
okay, yeah, so that's what you do. So you say 76, they they thought they should be able to get there, and that wasn't the case, because 76 was actually missed a lap because they were in the pit or something.
Right.
So you
So,
just, for that particular person, just uncheck the autocorrect data.
right. So it's usually yellow. So I don't know why yours is being gray. It's usually like if you do passings, it will have yellow highlighted, like these are black, it would have it yellow highlighted to do a prediction. And so you know that the yellow highlighted ones are the CrossMrg saying, I predict them to be that way. So 82 is like not even in here on this lap, so I'm not sure why. So and it usually does it after I'm not sure if I can, try to see if there's one that might have what you're talking about. So 4 is the leader's lap. Let me go into passings. This I must have added number 26 down there. And you can see that. So yeah, you're right, Rob, though. There is a time that, and I can't seem to bring one up, and then this will
Yeah,
auto lap it, and you can uncheck it, and it will bring it back down.
yeah. Okay, so that's a really cool thing, because it'd be especially like first or second lap, nobody's lapped at that time.
Hmm.
Everybody's bunched up together. It inserts people where it thinks they'll be, and then
Prediction, yeah.
that's on the recommendations, and then if you're, got somebody also hand scoring it and they're like, no, these guys are a lap down, then you just uncheck from that.
Right. And then when you're recording them here, up here is where they're predicted to come in, and this is where you've recorded it. So you can literally, once, and again, we're not in a live thing, race right now, but if I had all the guys that were, or girls coming in here, they'll also look the same here, and like number 25 is coming up, and estimated time of arrival is in 1 minute, and then it's actively counting down. And we were pretty loud, joking yesterday because it was beyond like accurate. Like even to the point they're like, well, no, we're missing rider number 380 and this and this. And I'm like, no, it's predicting that 285 is going to be coming ahead of that. And they're like, but not in this order. And I'm like, and every time, almost every single time, CrossMrg was correct in its prediction.
Man, that's cool.
So here's the animation of it as well, and we can play it. So this was the race, and you can literally see the race go over.
Hmm.
Pretty crazy, huh? And you can highlight whatever number you want to see where he is. And you can slow it down as well.
That is cool. And this uploads to the HTML file. So, I mean,
Yeah.
live, so the announcer can sit there on their smartphone and, I mean, really know what's going on.
Right, and here it is. Here was my race yesterday. And it's all the races that automatically, that's why when we put the FTP in, it's very important. And it will automatically um, categorize it like this. So if we're going to go back into category for the juniors, here's the juniors, the elevation. This is literally all the information that they have about this. If you click on the number, it will give them statistics of themselves. So riders can go in here and see their what their speed is, everything else, is how they accelerated, or if they're not accelerated. If you go down here, you could see this guy say, or started up pretty good, but then crashed a little bit. And for training purposes, you can say like, what could you have done different for that? And then look at number one, Aaron. He stayed on top the whole time. He was very consistent with his racing. So it's pretty cool that for the rider, and they have access to this on a live update, so they can
Yeah,
literally see how it goes. And again, you can see these two only they got lapped. There's only 2 laps. They didn't do a third lap.
yeah.
And then the gray outs were DNFs.
Well, cool. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. So is there any other questions on this? Is really the basic setup. I mean, we can continue next week. We'll do, or Thursday we'll go into more of the cameras and everything else.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I think this is a real good initial kind of how you set it up, and then kind of the showing off the fruits of your labor once you have that. I think we should stop this recording now,
okay.
and then then we can do future trainings with actually doing a race, correcting mistakes, camera and stuff like that in the future. But I really appreciate your time and thank you so much for this. So I'm gonna stop the recording and thank you very much, Julie.
Awesome. Thanks, Rob.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.